This is a relatively new brand that has been appearing on Amazon, and they hit a really big surprise that shocked me. Now, let's talk about the price of this tool. This comes in right now as I hold this tool at $52, but it has been as high as around $100. And today we're answering the question, what makes this tool special? Is it worth it? And should you buy it? Now, on the outside of this tool, we notice that this has a pocket clip very similar to Leatherman's pocket clip right here. It looks almost the same. And what I want to do is bring in the Wave Alpha, see this pocket clip right here, and see if we can transfer this pocket clip over to the RBlack. And guess what? We can. Wow. That actually looks sort of nice right there. I sort of like that. Now let's go ahead and transfer this pocket clip over to the new Leatherman Wave Alpha. And for some reason, it doesn't seem to work that way. So after trying the RBlack pocket clip and the Leatherman Wave Alpha, I noticed that there are some pretty big differences in the cutouts in these two tools. But it is unique that the Alpha pocket clip, the Wave pocket clip, seems to work in here, but the RBlack pocket clip does not work so well in the Leatherman Wave Alpha. Now, as we have these two right here together, you'll notice that this is orange. This is the Canyonland or whatever Leatherman calls this, but the RBlack, they call this maple yellow, and it definitely is more of a yellow than I expected. From the pictures, I definitely thought this was more of an orange color, but it is not. But I still think that these look pretty nice in the colors that they have. Most of them, there is a red. I think they call it like a red brick, a mint green, a maple yellow, a black, a silver, and an olive green. Now inside we have these nice pliers. We'll come back to the outside tools, but inside we have these nice pliers. There are a couple things that I really like about this, that they don't have wire cutters. I increasingly am thinking about the toughness of the pliers, and I do think without that cutout for wire cutters, that will increase perhaps the longevity of the pliers. And I think that could be a very good thing. You don't have to worry about getting replaceable wire cutters, where to find them, and all that. Now, having said that, I feel like the way these wire cutters look is a little different. Let's go ahead and use them just on some very thin copper, and it seems to work great right there. No problems. I don't know if I have a coat hanger on hand right now, so we'll probably skip the coat hanger test, but otherwise just on that very soft copper, it seems to work great. And one of the other things that I really like about this is the file. Now, increasingly on a lot of the cheaper tools, I'm noticing that one of the places they skimp is the file. Now, this has the three-sided file, the diamond file, this file right here, and then this nice, I don't know if you can see this right here, but this actually looks like one of the better files on the bottom. So they definitely spent a lot more money on the file. So for $52, that's one of the places you see the extra money spent. Now, this whole tool, RBlack, is very upfront, and they say everything is 5CR15 MOV. They just put it out there. That's what it is. Like it or not, that's what you get. So there's the knife. And then on this side is the pretty standard saw. That seems pretty standard with a lot of these tools. And then on this side, I really like this gut hook serrated knife. Now, what that means is you will not have a dedicated large set of scissors on the outside, but I think a lot of people would prefer this. Now, this tool right here, and I think maybe this would be the time to talk about this. This tool right here is pretty much exactly the same looking as the Harbor Freight Gordon multi-tool. If you look at the bottom, everything pretty much looks the same. The pocket clip looks the same. I mean, look at this right here. Yeah, you've got what looks like the exact same tool, except this one has cutouts and then it has a different brand name and it has colors on the handle, but otherwise everything looks pretty much exactly the same. Now, people have said on multi-tool groups, I haven't really tried it myself yet, that you can take the serrated knife blade off here and put it directly into your Leatherman Wave Alpha. You will have to maybe do a little bit modification in that you might have to drill out the pivot hole a little bit, but that you can take this out and use it in your Leatherman Wave Alpha. So that is an option for those of you who maybe want some tools to mod. This perhaps might be a donor tool for your Leatherman after some slight modification. Now, it does look like on closer inspection that you do have maybe some brass washers. Now, on the bottom, something that I very easily forget is this glass breaker. This is a nicer glass breaker in the sense that it doesn't seem to poke into you. It's not extremely sharp. I hope it would work. I guess it's supposed to be a little bit of a tougher material right there at the bottom that you could use in extreme emergency. Now, some people say that with electric vehicles overseas, they have a lot of problems with people getting stuck inside, and that's why some people have that. I don't know if that's true or not. Let me know if that's just a urban myth or if it's actually true. Now, we'll leave that to last. This is the big secret right here that really shocked me. But this right here, let's look at these tools. And before we do that, do you see what I see right here? Let's see if I can bring this into focus. This is what the Leatherman Wave Alpha is missing. It's a ruler. Look at that. So you do have a ruler, and then later on I'll show you something else that Leatherman doesn't give you. But that's pretty cool right there. It is a little hard to see, especially with these light handles, but you could always put the nail polish, colored nail polish over here like black, and then wipe the rest of it out. I think that's what some people do to get relief, because it does look like these are recessed numbers, and I think that would really make it pop and stand out. Now let's look at the interior tools. We have the scissors. Then there is the wire stripper and the can opener, the larger flat screwdriver or the flat screwdriver, and then these scissors. Now, one of the things I like about these scissors is this little handle part right here. Let's go ahead and test the scissors out. So I'll bring this over here to test, and they actually cut through the paracord really good, except the scissors collapsed on me. So I may have hit the unlock button. Let's try this again. Okay, so these are locked. And no, they are unlocking on me. I wonder why. You have to use it that way, right? Yeah, I don't know. So these scissors, unfortunately, they're collapsing on me for some reason. I wonder if the Gordon tool has the same issue. Let's try the scissors in this one. All right. And wow, that was a sharp piece of metal somewhere. So these look pretty much the same, right? So that should be locked in here. Okay. So these, for some reason, don't seem to be having the same issue. These seem to be cutting worse. Well, there we go. But they don't seem to be collapsing. I think I probably got a bad batch with this RBlack. I do think that's probably the issue. All right, due to the hazards of reviewing multi-tools, I had to take a little break, and now I am back. And this is the big news of this tool right here. Now, this is the one thing that I was very surprised about. I'm not sure if I saw this in the material when they were talking about this tool. This is one of the first times I've ever seen, have you guessed it, a 4mm bit driver on a Leatherman Wave clone. Now, I've seen 4mm bit drivers on like little scissor knife tools from AliExpress and little keychain tools. I've seen different 4mm bit drivers there. And Roxxon has an adapters for their screwdrivers and a full 4mm bit kit, but this is one of the first times that I have seen a double-sided 4mm driver that takes up the whole slot on one side of the handle. Now, when I saw this RBlack tool, I said, oh, I thought, well, this is the same as the Gordon, and the Gordon is $40. This is $52. And so I don't think there's really any big difference between the two. This one has maybe a 1/4 inch bit driver, and the other one has this Leatherman bit driver right here. But that's probably the only difference. Well, it turns out that this has that 4mm bit driver, and then this one, this Gordon multi-tool, has the difference in that it has this micro bit driver. So that is the one tool that is missing from this tool. Now, I think, yeah, this tool actually has a smaller flat driver as well. So this tool, the wire stripper and the can opener on the Gordon, moved to the other side with a Leatherman bit, and then they've swapped out here this smaller driver, and then you don't have this micro driver and the large driver. All right, so when we weigh the RBlack, it comes in at 8.2 ounces, or taking it over to grams, 232 grams. The Gordon multi-tool is actually heavier at 243 grams and 8.6 ounces. So this one will be a little less than the Leatherman Wave. This one will be about the exact same weight as a Leatherman Wave. I think the Leatherman Wave is 8.7 ounces. So both of these are very close. Before I forget, the RBlack does have a pouch that looks very much like Leatherman's smaller pouches. It's pretty much just an ordinary pouch with the snap. It is a little nicer than the very, very cheap ones with the almost like the elastic on the sides. The RBlack, especially with the pocket clip, it does fit a little snug inside. Now, there is no bit kit that comes with it, no 4mm bit kit, but at least it does come with a pouch. It's up to you which one you prefer. I think a lot of people would prefer the Leatherman bit driver on the Gordon, and so far the tool set on the Gordon has actually performed better. So I'm inclined to think the Gordon might be a better tool, but I do know that this is probably just a lemon with that set of scissors. So it's probably not that big a deal, and you can return it with Amazon. And then one of the other things I wanted to mention is that for $8, you can get a 3-year warranty. Now, the price on this is on sale right now for $52. So usually it's a lot higher. I've seen $60, $75. I think that's way overpriced because there's so many similarities between the Gordon and the RBlack. Yes, I do like the color on these handles, but I think there's too many similarities to justify charging that extra $30 or so for this tool when it's not on sale.